Welcome back. Today's topic is a true classic of British coinage, the United Kingdom 2 shilling, also known as the Florin. Collectors around the world love this coin because it spans multiple monarchs, major historical periods, silver compositions, and rare minting variations. While many florins are common, a small number of years, mint marks, and conditions can make a 2 shilling coin extremely valuable. Below is a long, detailed top 3 list of the most valuable United Kingdom 2 shilling coins, explained with history, key features, condition differences, mint marks, and realistic collector values. Let's get started. First up, the United Kingdom 2 shilling coin from 1967, commonly known as the Florin. This coin represents more than just old pocket change. It's a window into a pre-decimal era of British coinage, and it continues to capture the interest of collectors around the world. In this video, we'll walk through the origin and cultural context of this coin, explore what makes it unique, analyze its rarity and desirability even in worn, circulated condition, discuss how much you might expect to see this coin selling for today in US dollars, and offer practical tips if you're a collector or someone considering auctioning their own. Whether you found one tucked away in a drawer or are thinking about adding this classic piece to your collection, this video will help you understand its story and value. So, grab your loupe and let's get started. To truly appreciate the 1967 2 shilling coin, we first need to understand its place in British monetary history. The coin we're discussing is part of a long-running denomination known as the Florin, equivalent to 2 shillings, or 1/10 of a British pound under the old sterling system. The Florin was introduced in the mid-19th century as a step toward decimalisation, a goal Britain would only fully achieve much later, making it one of the earliest British coins designed with a mind to future currency reform. Over more than a century, the Florin appeared in coins of varying metal compositions and portraits of reigning monarchs. The 1967 issue sits in the final chapter of this story. This was a period of transition. As the United Kingdom was preparing for decimalisation, the historic switch to a system of currency based on powers of 10, implemented in 1971. Thus, the 1967 2 shilling represents both a culmination and a threshold, bridging the traditional pounds, shillings, and pence system with the new decimal currency that would replace it. Despite its official face value fading into history, the coin itself has retained a place in the imagination of collectors and historians alike as a symbol of that transition period. Let's take a closer look at what makes the 1967 2 shilling coin distinctive. On its obverse, or heads, side, you'll find a profile portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by sculptor Mary Gillick. This youthful effigy was standard for British coins in the 1950s and 60s and reflects a period in history when the monarchy was visually modernising its image for the post-war era. Turn the coin over to the reverse, the tails, and you'll see a beautiful floral design. A central Tudor rose flanked by thistle, shamrock, and leek motifs representing the nations of the United Kingdom, England, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales. Around the edge are the inscriptions FID Def, short for Fide Defensor, meaning Defender of the Faith, the denomination 2 shillings, and the year 1967. Materially, the 1967 2 shilling coin was struck in cupronickel, a copper and nickel alloy that was durable and capable of handling the daily rigors of circulation. The coin weighs approximately 11.31 grams and measures around 28.3 millimeters in diameter, with a reeded edge that adds texture and prevents clipping. Each of these design elements tells a story not just of artistry, but of national identity, monetary policy, and the practical realities of everyday British life in the mid-20th century. Now, let's talk about rarity. You might be surprised to hear that the 1967 2 shilling coin isn't what most numismatists would call a rare coin in the strictest sense. With a mintage in the tens of millions, this coin was produced in large numbers for circulation. Many were saved by the public after demonetization, particularly by younger collectors who appreciated its symbolic place in a changing monetary system. World catalogues and collector databases generally classify the 1967 2 shilling as common, especially when compared to older, lower mintage issues or rare era coins. Even so, rarity is relative, especially when we consider condition. Coins that remain in circulated condition, that is, those showing signs of wear from everyday use, are significantly more common than pristine, uncirculated examples. That said, highly worn coins can still be highly interesting to collectors as historical artifacts, and some specific factors may boost their desirability. Historical wear patterns: coins with distinctive wear that suggests actual circulation during notable historical periods may be more appealing than completely smooth, featureless examples. Eye appeal: despite where even circulated coins can display attractive patterns, balanced wear, and clear features that make them visually pleasing. This can positively influence collector interest. Market scarcity: in certain regions, while common in the UK, in other markets the 1967 2 shilling may be less available, leading to relatively higher demand, especially among collectors focused on foreign issues or pre-decimal British coinage. However, It's important to note that rare mint errors like die chips or misstrikes on this coin are far more likely to command a premium than standard circulated examples. Collectors often pay for uniqueness and story, and unusual minting anomalies fit that bills owe. While a typical worn 1967 2-shilling coin may not be labeled rare, there are specific circumstances under which even a circulated piece can attract collector attention and auction interest. This brings us to the $1 million, or rather, the few dollars question. How much is a circulated 1967 2-shilling coin worth today, especially when priced in US dollars? If we survey current listings and recent auction observations from major online marketplaces like eBay and specialized coin retailers, a consistent picture emerges. In circulated condition, this coin generally commands a modest price. Most listings for circulated 1967 2-shillings show values typically in the $322,000 range. For example, one online catalog indicates that typical market values for circulated grades range around approximately $221,000 for coins in various levels of wear. Numerous online auctions and listings show circulated examples selling at prices often under $116,000 tips for collecto, with occasional slightly higher bids around $6, often depending on seller confidence or buyer competition. These values reflect typical collector and world coin trading markets and are not fixed sale prices. Actual realized prices can vary based on buyer interest, geographic market, coin quality, and listing platform. Compared to rare coins with scarcity and precious metal content, the 1967 Florin's value remains relatively modest, yet that doesn't diminish its appeal as a historic piece or conversation starter in any collection. It's also worth noting that uncirculated or mint condition versions of this coin often fetch higher prices, sometimes several times those of worn examples, simply because collectors value condition so heavily. But for today's focus on circulated coins, the key takeaway is that most examples are accessible, affordable pieces of British numismatic history. Now you might be wondering, should you collect these coins? How do you evaluate them? What should you look for? Here are some targeted tips to help you make the most of collecting or even selling 1967 2-shilling coins. Coins are usually graded across a spectrum that includes good G, very good, VG, fine F, very fine, VF, extremely fine EF, and uncirculated, UNC. In circulated coins, most specimens will fall between good and very fine depending on how heavily worn they are. Clearer details on both sides usually translate into slightly better valued. A worn coin with balanced, aesthetically pleasing wear can still be attractive to collectors. Sometimes coins with even wear and an appealing patina are more desirable than pieces with scratches, dents, or cleaning damage. Many sellers and even some collectors attempt to enhance coins by cleaning them. Unfortunately, cleaning often reduces a coin's value. Collectors generally prefer original surfaces even if aged. Even on a common date like 1967, mint errors such as double dies or planchette flaws can elevate a coin's market value significantly. If you spot anomalies, consider getting a professional opinion. Before listing a coin for sale or bidding in an auction, look at similar coin listings that have sold. Platforms like eBay often show completed sales prices, which give you a better sense of what buyers are actually paying. Always adjust those values into US dollars for comparison. Understanding the coin's story, its place in the pre-decimal era, its symbolic features, and its broad circulation makes it more than just a piece of metal. This context is valuable both for enjoying your collection and for explaining it to potential buyers. Proper storage like coin flips, capsules, or albums protects coins from environmental damage. Keep them away from moisture, heat, and direct sunlight to preserve whatever condition they have left. As we wrap up, let's reflect on what makes the 1967 United Kingdom 2-shilling coin such a compelling piece for collectors and history enthusiasts alike. While this coin is not rare in terms of mintage, its value as a historic artifact from a pivotal time in British monetary history remains strong. The coin's beautiful design, its role at the cusp of decimalization, and its continued presence in collections around the world all contribute to its enduring appeal. And circulated condition, a 1967 2-shilling will usually trade in the modest range of a few US dollars, making it an accessible entry point for novice collectors, a nostalgic memento for those with ties to the UK, or a conversation starter for anyone interested in world coins. For those interested in collecting, the key is understanding condition, appreciating historical context, and doing your homework before buying or selling. Whether you're hunting for error pieces, comparing graded auctions, or simply enjoying the physical touch of old coinage, the 1967 2-shilling has a story to tell. Next up, the 1949 2-shilling coin, also known as the Florin. This particular episode focuses on the coin in very fine condition, a grade that perfectly balances historical wear with collectible appeal. While at first glance the 1949 2-shilling may appear like an ordinary piece of old British currency, a closer look reveals a coin rich in symbolism, craftsmanship, and historical importance. In this video, We will uncover the full story behind the 1949 UK 2 shilling coin, from its origins and design to its scarcity, collector demand, and real-world auction values expressed in US dollars. Whether you are a seasoned collector, a beginner just entering the world of coins, or someone who discovered an old florin in a drawer and wants to know its worth, this deep dive will give you everything you need to understand why this coin still matters today. Stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you may look at this classic British silver coin in a completely new way. The 2 shilling coin, commonly called the florin, was first introduced in the United Kingdom in 1849 during the reign of Queen Victoria. Its original purpose was revolutionary for its time. It was designed as a step toward decimalisation, valued at 1/10 of a pound sterling. Although the UK would not fully decimalize until 1971, the florin remained a crucial part of British coinage for well over a century. Fast forward to 1949, and Britain was emerging from the shadows of World War II. The nation was rebuilding its economy, reshaping its identity, and redefining its place in the modern world. Coinage from this era reflects those changes. The 1949 2 shilling was issued during the reign of King George VI, a monarch remembered for leading Britain through some of its darkest and most challenging years. By 1949, British coin production had shifted away from precious metals. Earlier florins contained a high silver content, but post-war economic pressures forced the Royal Mint to reduce costs. The 1949 2 shilling was struck in cupronickel, marking a significant transition in British minting history. This change alone makes the coin historically important, as it represents the end of an era when everyday British coins were made from silver. Millions of florins circulated through British hands used in markets, shops, pubs, and public transport. These coins silently witnessed post-war rationing, industrial recovery, and social change. Today, surviving examples, especially those in very fine condition, serve as tangible connections to that transformative period. The 1949 2 shilling coin stands out for its bold, dignified design, reflecting the seriousness of the post-war era. On the obverse, the coin features a left-facing portrait of King George VI, designed by engraver Thomas Humphrey Paget. The king's image is strong and understated, symbolizing resilience and stability after years of global conflict. Surrounding the portrait is the Latin inscription identifying George VI as king and emperor, a reminder that the British Empire still existed, though it was already beginning to change. The reverse design is equally significant. It displays a crowned rose, thistle, and shamrock, symbolizing England, Scotland, and Ireland, respectively. This floral emblem had been used on florins for decades, but its presence in 1949 carried new meaning. In the years following the war, unity within the United Kingdom was a powerful theme, and this design reinforced national cohesion. The coin measures approximately 28.5 millimeters in diameter and weighs around 11.3 grams. In very fine condition, the details of the floral emblems remain clear, with visible petals, stems, and crown elements. The legends are sharp, though some light wear may be present on the highest points. This balance between wear and detail is what makes very fine examples so appealing to collectors. They show honest circulation while preserving the artistry of the original strike. Another unique feature of the 1949 florin is its minting quality. Despite post-war material shortages, the Royal Mint maintained high standards. As a result, many 1949 florins were well struck, making higher-grade survivors particularly desirable today. One of the most misunderstood aspects of coin collecting is the relationship between condition and rarity. While the 1949 2 shilling is not extremely rare in absolute numbers, condition plays a massive role in its desirability and value. Coins that have survived in very fine condition are significantly less common than heavily worn or damaged examples. Damaged florins, those with corrosion, heavy scratches, bends, or cleaning marks, are still collectible, but they attract a different segment of the market. Many collectors interested in date sets or historical representation are willing to purchase damaged examples simply to complete a collection. These coins still hold value due to their age and historical context, even if their aesthetic appeal is reduced. Interestingly, demand for damaged coins has increased in recent years as more collectors enter the hobby. Rising silver prices, historical interest, and online marketplaces have made even lower-grade British coins accessible and desirable. However, damaged coins generally sell for a fraction of the price of very fine or better examples. For the 1949 2 shilling, damaged condition pieces may still sell steadily, but the real competition among collectors centers on coins with intact legends, readable dates, and visible design elements. Very fine examples sit at the sweet spot of affordability and collectability, making them especially popular in auctions. When it comes to auction market value, the 1949 UK 2 shilling shows consistent and reliable performance. Prices vary depending on condition, eye appeal, and market demand, but we can establish realistic ranges based on recent sales trends and very fine condition. A genuine, problem-free 1949 florin typically sells for approximately $433,000 at auction. Coins with particularly sharp details, attractive toning, or strong strikes may reach the higher end of this range or slightly exceed it. Examples in fine condition often sell for around $321,000, while heavily worn or damaged coins may sell for as little as $216,000. On the other end of the spectrum, extremely fine or uncirculated 1949 florins can command prices of $114,000 or more, depending on eye appeal and certification. Certified coins graded by professional services often sell for higher prices due to buyer confidence. However, even uncertified very fine examples remain popular because of their affordability and historical charm. It is important to note that auction prices can fluctuate based on collector interest, currency markets, and overall demand for British pre-decimal coinage. While the 1949 2 shilling may not be a high-dollar rarity, it offers excellent value for collectors who appreciate history and steady long-term demand if you are considering adding a 1949 2 shilling to your collection. There are several important tips to keep in mind. First, always examine the coin carefully. Look for clear lettering, a readable date, and visible floral details on the reverse. Avoid coins that show signs of harsh cleaning, as this can significantly reduce value. Focus on original surfaces. Natural toning and light wear are preferable to shiny, polished surfaces. Original coins tell a more authentic story and are more desirable to experienced collectors. Consider how the coin fits into your collection goals. If you are building a George VI set, a post-war British collection, or a florin date run, the 1949 issue is an essential piece. Buy from reputable sellers and compare prices across auctions and marketplaces. Patience often leads to better deals, especially for very fine examples that appear regularly but vary widely in quality. The 1949 United Kingdom 2 shilling coin is far more than just an old piece of change. It is a symbol of resilience, transition, and history. Struck in the aftermath of World War II, it represents Britain's shift away from silver coinage and into a new economic era. In very fine condition, the coin perfectly balances wear and preservation, making it a favorite among collectors worldwide. With steady auction demand, accessible pricing in US dollars, and deep historical significance, the 1949 florin remains a cornerstone of British numismatics. Whether you collect for investment, history, or pure enjoyment, this coin offers lasting appeal and timeless character. Next up, the United Kingdom 2 shilling coin of 1961, commonly known as the florin, examined here in fine condition. While at first glance it may appear to be just another pre-decimal British coin, this piece carries historical importance, artistic value, and a steadily growing presence in the collector and auction market. The 1961 2 shilling coin represents the final decade of Britain's pre-decimal currency system, just years before decimalisation changed the nation's money forever. For collectors, this coin is more than a denomination, it is a snapshot of a fading era. In this video, we will explore its origins, design elements, rarity factors, and why even coins in damaged or circulated condition continue to attract attention. We will also take a close look at current auction market values in US dollars, helping you understand what this coin might realistically be worth today. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or a casual coin hunter, this deep dive will give you valuable insight into one of Britain's most recognizable historical coins. The 2 shilling coin, or florin, was first introduced into British currency in 1849, during the reign of Queen Victoria. Its original purpose was closely tied to early discussions about decimalisation. Valued at 2 shillings, the florin was equivalent to 1/10 of a pound, making it an experimental step toward a decimal system long before it was officially adopted. Over time, the florin became a standard part of everyday British commerce, circulating widely for more than a century. By the time the 1961 florin was minted, Britain was under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, whose portrait appears on the obverse of the coin. The early 1960s were a period of transition for the United Kingdom, economically, culturally, and politically. Post-war recovery was giving way to modernization, and traditional institutions, including currency, were beginning to evolve. The florin was still widely used in daily transactions, but its days were numbered, as decimalisation was already being planned for the following decade. The 1961 issue was struck at the Royal Mint and produced in large quantities for circulation. Unlike commemorative coins, it was not originally intended to be rare or collectible. However, history has a way of transforming ordinary objects into valuable artifacts. As pre-decimal coins were withdrawn from circulation after 1971, many florins were melted down, lost, or heavily worn through decades of use. Surviving examples, especially those preserved in better condition, have since gained historical and collector value. One of the most appealing aspects of the 1961 2 shilling coin lies in its design. The obverse features the first portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Mary Gillick. This youthful depiction of the Queen, facing right and wearing a laurel wreath, is highly regarded among collectors for its elegance and classical style. The inscription reads Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina F laughing smiley : which translates to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. The reverse design is equally significant. It displays a crowned rose flanked by thistles, shamrocks, and leeks, symbolizing England, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales respectively. This unified floral motif represents the United Kingdom as a whole, making the florin not just a coin, but a statement of national identity. Above the design is the denomination 2 shillings, and below it, the year 1961. In terms of composition, the 1961 florin was minted in cupronickel, a change from earlier silver compositions used before 1947. While this means the coin has no intrinsic silver value, it also marks an important transition in British minting history. The size, weight, and durability of the cupronickel alloy allowed these coins to withstand heavy circulation, which is why many surviving examples show noticeable wear today in fine condition. Details such as the Queen's facial features, the floral elements, and the crown remain clearly visible, though softened by circulation. This level of preservation strikes a balance between affordability and collectability, making fine-condition examples especially popular among entry-level and intermediate collectors. Although the 1961 2 shilling coin is not considered rare in absolute terms, rarity in numismatics is often condition-dependent. Millions were originally minted, but the number of surviving coins in collectible condition is far lower. Over decades of circulation, many florins became scratched, bent, corroded, or otherwise damaged. Interestingly, even these damaged coins continue to attract collector interest. Collector demand for damaged or heavily circulated florins comes from several factors. First, there is strong interest in completing date sets of Queen Elizabeth II pre-decimal coinage. For some collectors, owning an example of every year is more important than condition. Second, damaged coins are often used as educational pieces, allowing new collectors to study designs, inscriptions, and history without the high cost associated with better grades. In recent years, online marketplaces and auctions have shown consistent demand for even low-grade or damaged 1961 florins. Coins with visible corrosion, edge damage, or heavy wear may still sell because they represent an accessible entry point into British numismatics. Additionally, collectors from outside the UK, particularly in the United States, often seek these coins as tangible links to British history, increasing international demand. Another interesting factor is nostalgia. Many people remember using florins in everyday life or inheriting them from relatives. This emotional connection can drive demand even for coins that would traditionally be considered undesirable in strict grading terms. When discussing market value, it is important to remember that prices fluctuate based on demand, condition, and the venue of sale. As of recent auction and marketplace trends, the 1961 2 shilling coin in fine condition typically sells in the range of $433,000. While this may not sound impressive at first, it represents a steady increase compared to values from a decade ago. Coins in very fine or extremely fine condition can reach $324,000, particularly if they display strong detail and attractive toning. Uncirculated examples, though less common, can command prices between $221,000 and sometimes more if certified by a reputable grading service. Damaged or heavily worn examples usually sell for $113,000, but even these prices reflect ongoing collector interest. Bulk lots of florins, including the 1961 issue, are also popular at auctions, where collectors seek to acquire multiple dates at once. It is worth noting that online auction platforms often show higher realized prices than local coin shops, especially when international bidders are involved. Coins listed with clear photographs, accurate descriptions, and proper historical context tend to perform better at auction. While the 1961 florin is not a get-rich-quick coin, its value lies in stability, history, and long-term collector appeal. For collectors interested in acquiring the 1961 2 shilling coin, there are several important tips to keep in mind. First, always examine the coin's condition carefully. In fine condition, key details should still be visible, even if worn. Avoid coins with active corrosion, deep scratches, or harsh cleaning, as these factors can significantly reduce value. Buy from reputable sellers whenever possible. Established coin dealers, well-reviewed online sellers, and recognized auction houses are more likely to offer authentic coins with accurate descriptions. If you are purchasing online, look for clear, high-resolution images of both the obverse and reverse. Consider your collecting goals. If you are building a date set of florins, a fine-condition 1961 coin is a solid and affordable choice. If your focus is investment potential, you may want to seek higher-grade examples, even if they cost more upfront. Storage is another critical factor. Coins should be kept in a cool, dry environment, ideally in acid-free holders or capsules. Proper storage helps prevent further wear and corrosion, preserving the coin's condition and value over time. Stay informed. Coin values change, and market trends evolve. Following auction results, joining collector forums, and watching numismatic content, like this video, can help you make informed decisions and deepen your appreciation for British coinage. The United Kingdom 2 shilling coin of 1961 may not be the rarest or most valuable coin in the world, but it holds a special place in numismatic history. As a product of the final years of Britain's pre-decimal system, it represents tradition, transition, and timeless design. In fine condition, it offers collectors an affordable yet meaningful connection to the past, while even damaged examples continue to find eager buyers. From its elegant portrait of Queen Elizabeth II to its symbolic reverse design, the 1961 Florin tells a story that goes far beyond its face value. Its steady performance in the auction market, measured in dollars, reflects ongoing interest from collectors around the globe. Whether you are collecting for history, nostalgia, or long-term value, this coin deserves a closer look. If you enjoyed this deep dive into British coinage, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Let us know if you own a 1961 2 shilling coin or if you've ever come across one in your collection. Until next time, keep searching your change. You never know what piece of history you might find.